Did you wish to have an attorney? Did you hire an attorney, or did you wish to represent yourself?
No, ma'am. I'll be representing myself.
All right. How old are you, sir?
I'm 25.
Okay. All right. Did you want to hear what the state is asking the court to do?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
All right. Miss Janvier?
Yes, Your Honor, 12 months to serve 1 day. Credit for the time he's already served. The balance to be probated. A $300 fine. Anger management. No contact with the victim, and do not return to the locations.
All right. So, Mr. Dangerfield, the recommended sentence in this case from the state would be 12 months to serve 1 day. You would receive credit for any time that you already served. The balance will be probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That would be $444 with the surcharges. You take an anger management class through probation, and you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, and you would not go back to the location of the incident. Do you understand?
Yes. May I ask a question as well?
Sure.
What was my second thing as well? I heard everything else.
Who is the victim?
Your second what, sir?
You said that I'd have to do a fine. Oh yes, that was my question. So if I had
Okay.
served a day,
All
you
right.
said that would count.
You'll get credit for that. Yes.
Okay, okay,
So it'll be probation to pay a fine and then take an anger management class.
okay. With the fine, um, is there a way that I could do it where I'm not on probation? I could pay it within that 60-day window gap that you're providing.
No, because you have to do the anger management class, and that has to be done through probation.
Okay, and that and you guys would send me like information on how I would get into that
So
class.
before you leave here today, you would be in a breakout room where you would have a private chat with Mr. Devin Carmichael, who's our intake specialist. Mr. Carmichael would sign you up and provide you with the information necessary to get started in probation.
Oh, okay. All right then. Will I have to show up again on the 10th as well?
Not if you do this.
Okay.
Will your
Uh,
license, will his driver's license be messed up?
Okay, ma'am, who are you
CDL
and
license.
why are
that's
you?
my mom.
Okay, hold on. Ma'am, he's 25.
Sorry.
If he can't handle his own business at 20, this is the whole thing I keep preaching about. These mamas out here infantilizing these children, these sons, and making them just no good.
Alright, guys, buckle up. We're diving into a courtroom drama where tensions are already high. The defense attorney, Lee Cutter, is absent, and her colleague, Manuel Rodriguez, requests a continuance. The judge is visibly frustrated, emphasizing that criminal matters, especially jury trials, take precedence over civil cases. She makes it clear that attorneys need to prioritize their responsibilities. Will the judge grant the continuance, or will she hold firm on her stance? Let's find out.
If
Oh
he
no,
ain't
she was
Oh,
responsible,
my God, take
Mr.
care of me.
Dangerfield, I got this. If he ain't responsible enough to handle what he need to handle at 25 years old, then I don't know what you're gonna do at this point.
Oh,
Now,
yes,
this
ma'am.
is a
But I was just wondering who was
and
bringing the
this is a
charges. I was wondering
ma'am,
who did he assault?
well,
Who
ma'am,
did he
you
who was
need,
the
ma'am,
battery against
ma'am,
the state against him?
ma'am,
Yes,
you
sir.
need
Yes,
to
ma'am.
ask
Yes,
I
him
don't
ma'am.
that
know the name of that.
before you come on my calendar popping off. You may have needed to have a
Yeah.
conversation with him about that before you got here. But I don't talk to mamas when I'm dealing with grown people.
Oh,
Mr. Carr, I'm not on you yet. Now, Mr. Dangerfield, you grown. You handling your own business. I don't talk to people's mamas unless I'm dealing with somebody with a mental health issue, a cognitive difficulty, or somebody under the age of 18. Are you any of those things? I can't hear you. You got your thing unmute. Unmute.
I said, no, ma'am, we meant nothing by that. We
No,
understood
well,
everything.
Mr. Dangerfield, I'm getting a little fed up because here's the thing. We got a whole generation of men who can't handle their own business because their mama's stepping in
No,
to
no,
hold
no.
their
My
water
mom,
every time
she
we
has
turn
a
around.
JD. She was sending in my motion to dismiss.
Well, then, if she got a JD, she should have put it if she's got a JD and didn't pass the bar, she's still not an attorney. If
I
she's an
know.
attorney, then she should have entered an appearance. But her just popping off at me without speaking to you, you should know who you assaulted. I don't know.
I didn't even know because it wasn't even an assault thing. Him and I had gotten to a verbal altercation.
Okay, well, that might be what this is about. It's simple battery. That can be based on a verbal issue.
Yes, ma'am. But no, as far as my mom, speaking on behalf, no, I know I could have spoke by myself. I handle my
Okay,
business.
but just please, ma'am, if you have a JD, if you ever get your bar and you stand before a judge, a little respect goes a long way. Don't pop off on somebody. You do your research first, because you could have gotten that information from the clerk's office before you came on here asking me in that tone what was going on. He's grown. I don't talk to mamas for grown people.
Yes, ma'am. We understand. Yes, ma'am. We understand.
All right, now, Mr. Dangerfield, back to you. So, ma'am, sir, did you wish to, like I said, you've already served the 1 day and you'll get credit for that. The balance will be probated for payment of the fine and the anger management course. And so you get an anger management course based on the information that you would get from probation that would direct you as to what the court will accept. Once you take the anger management course and pay the fines and fees, then everything else, that would be you would have done all of the conditions of probation. But the only thing remaining would be that you not go back to the location and that you not have contact with that particular person. Now,
Yes.
let's talk about, do you need the state to tell you who it was and where it was?
No, I know where it was. I was driving trucks for Dollar General at the time, and I don't work there anymore. I just left after that because there was no point in staying there.
Okay.
But
is this something that you wish to consider?
no, ma'am. I really would like to go for it with my motion to dismiss, if that was an option.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll be on the calendar on January 10th at 10 a.m. I mean at 2 p.m. I'm sorry. So you'll
Okay.
be in court January 10th, 2 p.m. Now, here's the thing. If you plan on representing yourself, I cannot treat you any differently than I would treat the other side.
Next up is Frank Javier Asso, who's facing charges for possession of a controlled substance. The judge reviews his application for community supervision and questions him about his background, including his gang affiliations and drug use. Asso admits to daily meth use but claims he's no longer involved with gangs. The judge sentences him to 10 years of probation with strict conditions, including drug testing and community service. Will Asso be able to turn his life around, or will his past mistakes catch up to him? Asterisk.
While it is a motions hearing and it's a little bit more relaxed than a trial, there are still rules that apply. And I'm going to explain it to you as much as I can, but I can't help you. You understand?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that includes being able to get evidence into the record of the court. So that's the reason why being an attorney is so helpful, because you know those rules of procedure and those rules of evidence. But otherwise, you'll have to represent yourself. And if your mother is not a member of the Georgia bar, she can't represent you or sit with you at table.
Okay. Just my last question before I am able to choose my. So with the anger management, would that be like online or anything? Because I still do currently drive trucks. So
I'm not sure what the options are. You could ask Mr. Carmichael that. I'm not aware of whether we take any. Mr. Carmichael, are we taking any online? Do we have any online options?
I believe the list that I'm going to provide for him at the end does have at least one online option, but I'll discuss that with him when we go into the breakout space.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mr. Carmichael says he believes there is one that you could avail yourself of.
Okay, I really appreciate you guys. I will pay my fines and go that route.
Wait a minute. We got to make sure that if you wish to enter a plea. So, is he eligible for a NOLO, Miss Janvier?
Yeah, the NOLO's fine, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Janvier will allow, she's not going to object to you taking a NOLO plea, which may help you with respect to any future employment. But if you wish to do that, you could. I'll accept a NOLO plea in this case instead of a guilty.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to plead NOLO in
All
this
right.
case.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
He was assaulted by another employee. The officer had the opportunity to speak with the victim, who advised that the delivery driver, the defendant, Mr. Dangerfield, wanted him to sign paperwork. However, he was the only person in the store and could not sign off at the moment. That the defendant became impatient. There was a verbal altercation where words were exchanged, and then the defendant punched him in the face and body area. The officer also spoke with the defendant, who admitted that he also punched the victim. The officer did review the video surveillance in the store. The state is recommending 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for the time served.
The judge delivers a stern warning to Aso, reminding him that violating probation could result in a 10-year prison sentence. She emphasizes the importance of making better choices and staying away from drugs and gangs. Aso listens intently, expressing his desire to change. The emotional weight of the moment is palpable as the judge warns him not to break his mother's heart. Will Aso rise to the occasion, or will he falter under the weight of his second chance?
The balance to be probated, a $300 fine, anger management, no contact with the victim, Mr. Robert Holliday, and do not return to the Dollar General in Riverdale, Georgia.
Right. All right, so Mr. Dangerfield, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served, balance probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300, 44421 CR 05972, Tadrika Riagenesia Gibson, speeding 35 plus miles an hour. You're entering a plea of NOLO on the case 2022 CR 06344 for count 1 battery, count 2 count 1 battery family violence, count 2 battery, count 3 simple battery family violence, count 4 simple battery, and count 5 simple battery. You're entering a plea of guilty. Did I look somewhere? No, guilty to counts 1 and 5. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge by entering a plea on the case 2022 CR 06345.
Where the incident occurred, he observed a motor vehicle that was being later determined to be operated by the defendant, Ms. Gibson, traveling at a high rate of speed, and through radar detection determined that it was 75 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. The officer initiated a traffic stop and made contact with the driver of the vehicle and determined, actually, when the vehicle stopped, Ms. Gibson jumped out of the vehicle.
And left her baby in the car?
No, I didn't do that.
You grabbed the baby when you ran?
My kids actually got out of the car. We were at the gas station.
Oh, so y'all was all fugitives?
No, when I pulled into the gas station instead of on the side of the road.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Jean-Pierre.
All right. It was determined that the defendant did not have a valid driver's license, nor was the vehicle that she was operating have valid registration. Additionally, the officer observed that the 3 children that were in the back seat were not properly secured in the car seat. The 2-year-old was sitting in the 2-year-old was sitting in the car seat but was not strapped in.
How old are the other children? Do we know?
10 and 7.
So all three of them should have been in some form of restraint in the back seat.
They were in the back seat. It was the 2-year-old.
Miss Gibson, it's not going to help you to keep popping off because by law, until your child is 85 pounds, they're supposed to be in a child restraint booster seat in the back seat and strapped in. So you had a 10 and a 7. I'm sure neither one of them were 85 pounds. So you just keep popping off, but you're not making your situation better because you're still wrong as two left shoes. So just be quiet. I'm going to acknowledge that you was just going through something during that period of time. Because like I said, your bond should have been revoked after the second case. But let's just say you was going through something. Don't erase that from my mind by keeping popping off. Because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead, Ms. John-Leah.
Yes, Your Honor. So she was taken into custody, and I think her children were left with their mother. The state is recommending for count 1, 12 months to serve 2 days, the balance to be probated, a $500 fine. Count 2 to be no pros. Count 3 to be no pros. Count 4 to be a $100 fine. And count 5, 12 months probation, $300 fine. What's that? Driver improvement course, but probably necessary. It can terminate upon completion, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry, and $50 for count 6.
Mr. White, I'm sure you have something to tell me about Miss Gibson and her circumstances at the time of these 3 interesting cases.
No, Your Honor. We just ask that you accept the negotiated plea.
All right, let me do a little figuring here. Let's talk. So, ma'am, on the case 2021 CR 05972, where you were going 98 miles per hour in a 65, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO. I'll sentence you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. That's going to be $737.
The next case involves Juan Gabriel Morales, who's also charged with possession of a controlled substance. Morales admits to daily meth use and explains that he's been caring for his mother, who suffered a stroke. The judge sentences him to 5 years of probation with strict conditions, including drug testing, community service, and parenting classes. She warns Morales that he's not in a position to care for his mother while using drugs. Will Morales be able to balance his responsibilities and stay clean, or will his addiction get the better of him?
And 50 cents with the surcharges. You're also to take a driver improvement course. You'll find that course on the website for the Georgia Department of Driver Services. Don't just Google. You're going to go to the actual state agency that issues your license. You're going to go to their website. They have a pull down menu. Choose one of those courses in a county that's convenient to you. As long as it's approved by Georgia Department of Driver Services, that's one that we will accept. So don't waste your money and your time by getting something that the court will not accept. All right, you're going to do 20 hours of community service, and you're going, once you have completed those things, your community service and your probation, once you've completed the community service, the payment, and the driver improvement course, your probation will terminate on that case. All right. On the case 2022 CR 06344, you're entering a plea of guilty on counts 1 and 5. On count 1, it's 12 months to serve 2 days. Those 2 days can be served on a weekend.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I do apologize. I just saw this message, but the victim, Mr. Bryant, I believe is on and wanted to make. Was that this case?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
this case. Raise
Okay.
your right hand, Mr. Bryant. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Go ahead, sir. Tell me what you want me to know.
Well, she's my child's mother, and I would have to have some form of contact with
No, you
her
wouldn't,
to.
sir. Let me disabuse you of that. If y'all haven't had these children in marriage, or if you weren't married soon after the birth of the children, and if you haven't gone to superior court and legitimized the children, no, you do not in fact have to have contact. The only contact you're required to have under those circumstances is you can pay child support. You can send it through child support enforcement, or you can send it child support money only, no contact, no talking, no baby I love you, none of that stuff through the mail at the home where the children reside. So no, sir, you do not have to have contact. But go ahead, continue.
Well, being a black man and raising a black son, I would want.
Well, being
I
a
don't
black
want to be.
man raising a black son, you should have married the
I
mother,
mean,
or you should go to
well,
court
I
and
understand that, Your Honor, but
get the
understand
child
what
to be
you're saying.
legally yours. So until such time as that child is legally yours, biological, I don't care about. Until the child is legally yours, I don't have to consider any of this.
So you would rather see young black men steady grow up with fathers?
No, what
Fatherless?
I would rather see is young black men do it the right way. Either have a
Yes, I
good
understand.
relationship with the mama and
Right.
marry the
I
mama and
don't.
be in the home and
Yeah.
take care of their children,
Yeah.
or go be legally bound to their children through the courts if they can't live with the mama, and make sure that if something should happen to them, then their children are taken care of and provided for under whatever is legally available to them, because their parent did the right
90% of
thing. So
America
what you're
doesn't
not
do
gonna
that.
do,
Black,
sir,
white, or color.
what you're not gonna do is come in here telling me about what a black man needs to be. I've been black a long time, so I know I'm older than you and your baby mama. Probably put your ages together, I'm that age. So let me tell you something. When you want to do something the right way, do it the right way. But what you're not going to do is play on my sympathy, talk about you don't want a black man to raise his son. If you wanted to raise your son the right way, you should have done it the right way from the beginning. You out here having 3 kids with this woman, and then y'all can't even get along enough to raise the child. So what you ain't going to do, sir, is bring that foolishness to me. Now, are you done talking?
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else you need to say to me about what I need to do when you didn't do what you were supposed to do to legitimize your children? Anything else you need to say to me about my responsibilities to your children? Anything else? What you need to do is help her pay some of this money when she was wilding out, because probably you had something to do with some of that she was going
Yes,
through.
ma'am. Thank you.
So you might want to scrape together the money to help her take care of your black son. Don't take me there, sir. Because I advocate every single day for men to be good fathers. And you gonna tell me you ain't done nothing you supposed to do, but you gonna tell me I got a responsibility to your children? No, sir, I do not. I got a responsibility to the law. And you talking and I can't hear none of it because you muted.
Ma'am, can you ignore him, ma'am? Please.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be more than happy to do that. I'll be more than happy to do that. So back to where I was. So on the 12 months to serve 2 days, you can serve it on a weekend. Balance will be probated to pay $500. That's $737.50 with the surcharges. And the 50 hours of community service. You're to take a family violence intervention program, and you're to have no contact with Michael Bryant. And Miss Michael Bryant is not you are the legal parent of the children. So if you do not want Mr. Bryant to have contact with his children, that's up to you. But he can't have any contact with you.
Yes, ma'am. I have one question about the 2 weekends, because I don't know if I went in jail for it or not, but I still have to serve the 2 days.
Yes, ma'am. But you can serve it on a weekend, or
when can I do?
Hold on now. It can be a non-traditional weekend. Like if you work Saturdays and Sundays, we can do a Monday and a Tuesday, or Wednesday and a Thursday. And I will give you a week or so to report. So I'm not gonna make you do it right tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that, okay?
I work Monday through Friday, so I can do the weekend.
Okay, so I'll tell you how that's gonna work in a minute. All right. So on count 5 in the case ending in 06344, that's 12 months probation to run concurrent. That means the run at the same time as 40 hours of community service and no contact with Mr. Michael Bryant. He can send payments through child support enforcement. So if you want to set up a child support enforcement case and he can send payments through that, you can do that. And that way you can receive money for your children. On the case ending in 06345, you're entering a plea of nolo to count 1. That's 12 months to serve 2 days, balance probated and to pay a fine in the amount of $500. So that will run concurrent with the case 2022 CR 06344. So that means you're only going to have to serve 2 days. Okay. You're going to do all of these at the same time. So if it says 2 days, the same 2 days are going to take place for all of these. You get me?
And I just go in and I'm coming out in 2 days.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll explain that in a minute. So that on that case, it'll be 12 months. I'm sorry. The next part of that is part 5 is 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service. And that's the no contact again with Mr. Michael Bryant. Now on the case ending in 06345, you're entering the nolo plea. That's 12 months to serve 2 days. That's going to run concurrent with the case ending in 06344. So you'll serve those 2 days at the same time. You're only going to do the 2 days. Balance will be probated for you to pay another fine in the amount of $500. So that's separate. On counts 2 and 3, those will be no pros. Count 4 is a nolo plea, and that's going to be a $100 fine, which is $151.50 with the surcharges. Count 5 is 12 months probation to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That'll be $444. And you'll also do a driver improvement course, but that'll run concurrent with the case ending in 05972. So all you'll have to do is one driver improvement course, okay? You'll have to pay the separate fines, but one driver improvement course will cover both of those. And then
so
on
$2,000 worth of fines.
I'm sorry.
That's like $2,000 worth of fines.
Hold on, we're getting it. Yeah, it's about that. Hold on. So on the case ending in 06345, count 6 is a $50 fine. That's going to be $83.25. So let me see if 1, 2, 3. So the other option, Miss Gibson, is we could run one of these consecutive, and that means you would have 12 months, and then you would get an additional 12 months at the end of that if you were still paying off fines and fees, and that way you wouldn't have to try and pay all of this within the first 12 months. And so let me tell you how much it's going to be with the surcharges. So what I calculate is it's $2,891.25 with the surcharges. Now you got kids and you're working. If we want to do a consecutive, which means you'll still have more, you'll have 24 months to pay all of that as opposed to 12 months. If that would help you, I can do it that way.
I'd rather do the 12 because I'm just try to pay it out at one time.
Okay.
Now,
all
if I
right.
have to pay it out at one time, I still be on probation.
Yes, ma'am, because you still got other stuff to do. You still got a family violence intervention program course to take. That's 24 weeks. You still got community service. Your community service adds up to 110 hours of community service is what I got.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. And now let's talk about the case. So the jail. So you work Monday through Friday. What you would do is you would turn yourself in on Friday evening between 6 and 7 p.m. You got to do.
Judge concludes Morales' sentencing with a final warning, emphasizing the importance of communication and making better choices. She encourages Morales to pursue his dreams of building a custom bike brand and clothing line, but warns him to stay focused and avoid drugs. The emotional weight of the moment is palpable as the judge reminds Morales that his mother is counting on him. Will Morales be able to turn his life around, or will his addiction derail his future?
Between those hours, because that's the only time they do intake. You would be here at the Clayton County Jail, and then you would get out the following Sunday between 6 and 7, and so then you would have served your 2 days. So it's up to you when you want to start that. I can give you 1 to 2 weeks to get because you got kids. I can give you 1 to 2 weeks to get
I gotta situate to get somebody to watch them all weekend.
I got you. So I'm looking at your calendar, my calendar, which 1 second. So today is the 4th.
January 26th, or that's too far?
Hold on, let me see. Okay, January 26th is not outside the realm of possibility. That'll give the jail some time to process whatever's coming in over the holidays, and then you can turn yourself in on January 26th at between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So let's say 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then you'll get out on that following Sunday at 6 p.m.
All righty.
All right. Now, Ms. Gibson, now we back on track. I understand. Like I said, there's sometimes when people go through something. You got me? But you see the consequences of, you can't ride fast with your babies in the car. That's just, I mean, you might have been leaving a situation, but you always got to make sure your babies are safe. That's your primary job as their mom. You get me?
Yes.
They didn't ask to be here, but when we bring them here, it's our responsibility to make sure they are safe.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? I see you working. I see you trying to do. So I'm trying to give you as much of a, consideration as I can.
Yes.
But let's just be the last time we meet like this, okay?
It will. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael is going to do your intake for probation, and he's going to explain everything that you need to know about probation. This is what I stress. Probation officers here are amazing, and they will do the best that they possibly can to help you successfully complete. If you work with them, they'll work with you. And they sometimes will come on, on your behalf and ask, okay, well, she can't do this, but can she do that? Can we do this instead of that? They will advocate for you if you are upfront with them, okay? If you have any issues, please bring that to their attention. Don't just let it go like, I couldn't do such a, no, let your probation officer know. And the quickest way to get rearrested and to mess up on probation is to miss a probation report, okay? If you got something going on, you tell them ahead of time. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael.